Hello, everybody. Let's start with the first chapter, or we can say as a bonus chapter, and for 10th standard, definitely the second chapter. But first chapter periodically for our classes. Now, the first chapter here begins with the periodic table, where you have to have the knowledge about elements, atoms, and many more things. So, let me start with a brief introduction to the basic concepts. What periodic table is, how is the periodic table arranged, how many elements are there, what are elements, what are atoms, what else things are there in this we're going to learn today in this class. So it is going to be a basic revision which you need and a brush up on which you have to start. And for the ninth standard, you definitely have to have this as a bonus chapter because this chapter is not there anywhere in your textbook. This is a bonus chapter for you, but it will definitely help you learn the other concepts which are given in your chemistry. So let's start with what is an atom. Basically, an atom, basically the atom is the tiniest particle which cannot be further divided. I think you might have heard about it earlier. The atom is the particle which is the tiniest which cannot be further divided. If you don't know, please write it down right now. An atom is the tiniest particle which cannot be further divided. Okay. Then what do you mean by element? There are definitely different types of elements all around the world, all around the earth, everywhere. If you see gold, silver, platinum, iron, zinc, everything, etc., there are so many elements. Elements are the different form. If I say gold, okay. So gold is having few atoms, which atoms are connected together. One ball of atom, another ball, another ball, another ball, which makes up a whole block. That is called an element. Element is simply known as a mixture. I cannot say mixture, but I can say coming together of the atoms is called as the element. Okay. Now, what makes up a molecule or molecule? So it is when two atom of the same kind. When two atom of the same kind. Example: oxygen, one oxygen atom and the other oxygen atom, when they come together, they form O2, which is a molecule. Okay. So molecule is when two atoms come together of the same type. So if you don't know these things, please write the definition for it. Okay. Then next comes mixtures or compounds. I can say compounds are the ones which are different atoms that comes together to form one compound. One compound means if I add copper and silver both together to form a compound, or maybe copper and tin to make brass. So that is a another form of a compound. Okay. So in that compound where two or more atoms come together to form a new substance is called as a compound. Next, we have mixtures when many atoms or many elements comes together to form a particular something new mixture. That time it is called as a mixture. Okay. Basic definition is very clear, I guess. Now let's start with the periodic table. I hope everybody can see the slides. First is the periodic table. We're going to explore how the elements are arranged throughout in the periodic table. Features about the periodic table, the electronic structures of the atom, the properties of the metals, non-metals, and the metalloids, and periodic trends. And for the 10th standard, we are going to learn how this periodic table has come about, how we are going to learn about it, and all that. Okay. How are the elements arranged in the periodic table? Have you ever seen a periodic table? Let me show you. This is the periodic table. It consists about, there are so many atomic numbers and atomic masses. Now, what do you mean by atomic number and atomic masses? I will explain. But before that, let me explain what is a periodic table. It consists of 118 elements. Okay. So there are 118 elements which have their associated symbols. Okay. So if I say here, this is the full periodic table in which this is the hydrogen atom and the element for it is H. Sorry, the symbol for it is H. Then comes helium, He, lithium, Li, beryllium, Be, boron, B, carbon C, nitrogen N, oxygen O, fluorine F, neon Ne, sodium, this is sodium, not Na, something starting with sodium, that is Na, magnesium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium. There are many more going on. But you need to learn only till the first 20 elements till your 10th standard. That is only required. Nothing else more than that. Okay, just a basic things that are required is, if I see here, that is Fe is iron. It is ferric or ferrous. There are two types of iron, so that is why it is called ferric or ferrous. It is a Latin name of the iron. That is why Fe is the symbol. Okay. So how did this symbol came? How did this come? And all that I will explain you later on. But right now, I'm just giving you a brief concept about this. Also, Cu here is copper. Cu here is copper, not Co is copper. Co is cobalt. Okay, so these are the few things that you have to see. This is Zn is zinc. Okay, so this is the whole periodic table. Now, periodic table consists of rows and columns. Okay, so the horizontal ones are called the rows, which are the period of the periodic table. Always remember, there are 7 periods in the periodic table. There are 7 periods in the periodic table. Let me count. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We don't count these series right now, but for the periodic table here, there are 7 periods. Okay, let me be clear. The horizontal one is the rows. The rows are called the periods, and the vertical ones are called as the columns, but in the periodic table, it is called as groups. In total, we have 18 groups. Okay. So it is group number 1, group number 2, group number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, goes on. It's group number 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. If you count, there are 18 groups which are there in the periodic table. This is a basic information that I'm giving you. You need to be very, very, very careful about this. Very careful. Now let's study the structure of the atom beyond what we can see in the periodic table. Let's go on to the electronic structure, how the electronic structure looks like. I guess you have learned it previous in your 8th standard, but let me just give you a quick recap on this. Electronic structure is something like this. This is the whole atom out here. This is the whole atom in which there is a dense nucleus which is colored with a black color, which has protons and neutrons in it. Let me be clear with you all. It has protons and neutrons. Okay, so this is what protons and neutrons are there in this dense nucleus. But the outer shells, which are oriented, the orbits which are there revolving around the nucleus, has electrons. Can you see this X structure? That is the electrons. Okay, these are called the electrons of the atom. Okay. Then this is the electronic structure, how it becomes. First group, first shell will have two electrons only. It has only the capacity of holding two electrons, not more than that. Please be very careful about this. It can only it can only hold two electrons, not more than that. It can, the second shell, that is the L shell. Okay, so let me be clear. This is the K shell. First shell is called as the K shell. Second shell is called as the L shell. Third shell is called the M shell. And the fourth one is called as the N shell, nest, N for nest. Okay, so the first shell can only contain two electrons. Second shell can contain 8 electrons. Third shell can contain 18 electrons in the larger atoms, but it can contain 8 electrons in the smaller atoms, which we'll discuss how do we have to go about with that. Then comes 32 electrons. So it goes on increasing, 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 but you have to remember in the first K shell, 2 electrons, second shell, 8 electrons, third shell, 8 electrons. That's it. Remember that much only for now. Okay. See, oxygen, simple. The atomic number for oxygen is 8. So if 8 is given, okay, let me be clear with you all about the atomic number and masses. Masses is not given. Okay. So here, I guess you can see. Can you see scandium? This one. Atomic number is the number at the top. Always remember, the superior one is the atomic number and the inferior one. Can you see 44.9, 47.8 or maybe 40.00? These are all atomic masses. Means what? What one atom weighs. एक एटम का कितना वेट है वो इधर नीचे लिखा गया है और एटम का जो नंबर है वो ऊपर लिखा जाए. Okay, atomic number is at the superior one and atomic mass is at the inferior, the down. Okay, be very careful with that. See, as you can see, first 20 elements you have to learn. It should be done by heart. Okay, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium. So if you learn these 20 elements, you know the atomic number 1, 2, 3, 4. You know how, where does it stand. So in that case, it will be easier for you to remember the atomic number which is required here, which is very important. Atomic masses are not that important for you right now. It will be given to you in your examination if required. But for now, you just have to learn the atomic number by heart. So 1 to 20 elements should be by heart. Okay. So if I say here, atomic number is 8. First shell will contain only 2 electrons. First we'll add only 2 electrons. So 8 minus 2 is how much? 6 more electrons to be added. So in the second shell we can add 8 electrons, but we only have to add here 6 electrons. So that can be easily added. So as you can see here, we are adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 electrons. Okay. Always remember, then there are 2 electrons which means the number is even, and there is a possibility that the electrons can be together. So please don't separate the husband and the wife. Please, it is a request, don't separate the husband and the wife. But in case if this was 9, so it has to be 1. It has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and one more x over here, that will make it 9. That 1 is okay when it is an odd number, but when it is an even number, please don't separate the husband and the wife. Okay, am I very clear? Okay. So can you see here, the electronic configuration is, there should be a comma here, but there is a dot coming, but it's okay. 2, 6. It should not be a dot. 2, 6. How do you write the electronic configuration? 2, 6. That makes up 2 plus 6 is 8. So atomic number is fulfilled. That's it. So that is very easy. This electronic configuration is very easy. Your homework will be, you will draw all the electronic configuration from 1 to 20 elements. Okay, and show it to me. and submit me the pictures about it. Okay. So that will be your homework. 1 to 20 elements, full electronic configuration, as well as the proton number, neutron number, and if you don't know how to write the neutron number, very easy. Okay, don't write the neutron number. I will explain you later. But proton number is clear, and as well as the atomic number and the electronic configuration. What do you mean by electronic configuration? 2,6. That is electronic configuration. If I say one more example, I will give you. See you. These are few examples. If you can see, there is 3. Atomic number is 3. So 2 and 3. Can you see the electronic configuration over here? Everybody, 2, 1. 2, 1. That makes up 3. Sodium. See, sodium electronic configuration is what? Atomic number is 11. So, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is the total? 2 plus 8 is 10. One more is remaining. So, we'll add one more shell and we will add one more electron. That will make up 11. Potassium, 19. So, it will be 2 plus 8 plus 8. That makes up 18. 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. One more is left. So, we'll add here. This might also be. One more electron. That will be 19. Did you understand sodium, lithium, sodium, potassium? Okay. So this is the whole configuration, electronic configuration that you have to do. Atomic number will always increase down the group. Can you see this lithium, sodium, potassium? There is a Cm that is coming behind it. Em. Means they belong to one group only. Can you see here? Where was I? I don't know. I completely forgot I had a call. But let's start with this new topic over here. Whatever is left, I will cover it later. Early attempts of the classification of the elements, they were done into elements. When the classification of the elements was done, it was done simply in the basis of metals and non-metals. So how are metals? This is a very important distinguish that you have to learn. Metals are very shiny, luminous, and non-metals are very dull, non-luminous, which does not have a shine. Okay, or any shiny appearance, there is no shiny appearance. Okay, so metals are very shiny. They are good conductors of electricity and heat. Whenever you can definitely conduct electricity and heat from the metals, but whereas in the non-metals, you definitely cannot. On the other hand, I can say they are malleable and ductile. What do you mean by malleable and ductile? There's the word ductile is not given here, but you can definitely add in metals. Ductile, malleables are malleable and ductile means malleable are the metals which can be hammered and made into thin sheets. Okay, so when I hammer it, it will be into sheets. And ductile means when I hammer it and it will become a string. That is nothing but ductile. Duct, D-U-C-T-I-L-E. Ductile spelling is D-U-C-T-I-L-E. Malleable means when you hammer it and it will be into thin sheets. But ductile means when you hammer it, it will be into thin strings, wires. Okay, metals have a high density, high melting point. At a very high temperature, they will melt. At a very high, they have definitely a higher density. Of course, when you put a block of metal in water, it will sink. It will not float. It will sink. That means the density of the metal is more than water. So that is what density means. Density is nothing but the mass that is occupied in the particular volume of the surface. Whereas in the non-metals, they are brittle. Brittle means they are not at all flexible enough. They are like mostly in gaseous or liquid state. Low density, of course, they can float on the surface, and they have low melting point. Low melting point means what? They can easily, at a smaller temperature, they can melt easily. Okay, I'm sure that you are able to understand this. High melting point and boiling point means at higher temperature they will melt, and at a higher temperature they will boil, and at low temperatures they will melt, and at low boiling point also they will boil. Not okay. So please remember this. There is a quiz that is coming after this only. So make sure you are prepared for this. You have to write it without seeing. Now, trends of the metal. How does a trend of the metal group belong? I remember now. Where was I? I was the group that I was telling, lithium, sodium, potassium. Okay. So here I was. If you see this, remove hydrogen for now. Don't see the hydrogen right now. Remove it for now. See from here, lithium, sodium, potassium. These are all one group. Rubidium, cesium, francium. This is all one group. Okay, this follows one group. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium. This is all second group. Then from here, boron, aluminium, gallium. This is the third group. That is the 13th group, you can say, or the third group. Carbon, silicon, germanium, that is all the 14th group or the fourth group. Neon, phosphorus, arsenic, this is the 15th group. Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, that is the 15th, 16th group, or the 6th group. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, this is the 7th group or the 17th group. And here comes helium, neon, argon, krypton. This is all the 18th group or the 8th group. Okay, so always remember they will all have common properties. First group will have all common properties with the first group elements. Second group will have all the common properties with the second elements. Means, अगर if I say, let me explain it in Hindi for you guys to make it simpler. अगर एक चीज, जैसे मैं फर्स्ट ग्रुप की बात कर रही हूँ, लिथियम, सोडियम, पोटेशियम, तो ये लोग बहुत ज्यादा विगरस एंड वायलेंट रिएक्शन करते हैं अगर पानी के साथ कांटेक्ट में आ गए, अगर एयर के साथ कांटेक्ट में आ गए, या कुछ भी किसी के साथ भी आ गए, तो दे विल लिटरली लाइट अप फायर्स. तो वो चीज ना हो, दैट इज वाई ये क्या हो, मतलब दे आर ऑल हैविंग दिस केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी, दे हैव द सेम केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी. सो लिथियम, सोडियम, पोटेशियम is having the same common properties, whereas beryllium, magnesium, and calcium will also have the same common properties. Boron, aluminium, gallium will also have the same properties. Goes on, continues. So this is how groups are arranged, which has groups, there are same properties they will follow. So lithium, sodium, potassium all will have the same properties. But as we go down the group, the volatility of the elements increases. Okay, so atomic radius also increases. Can you see here lithium? 1, 2, 3, three atomic numbers. So 1, 2, 2, 1. Here 2, 8, 1, 2, 8, 8, 1. Can you see the shells are increasing? If the shells are increasing, the atomic radius increases. What do you mean by atomic radius? The distance from the center of the nucleus till the end of the shell. So from the center of the nucleus till the end of the shell, can you see this? This is increasing. As the shell increases, the atomic radius also increases, as well as the reactivity of the metals also increases. As the atomic radius increases, the electrostatic force of attraction becomes weaker. Okay. So what happens here? The nucleus is here. Let me make you a very common example. There's a teacher and there's a classroom. The teacher is speaking, but what do you think? The first bench student will be able to, if the teacher is speaking normally, but a little lower voice will be there. But the first student on the first bench can hear her very clearly. but the student at the last bench will have some difficulties. The sound will slowly and slowly decrease till it reaches the last desk. So in the same way, the force between this first K shell is the strongest force. Then L shell, M shell, N shell, and goes on. But then the force, attractive force between them goes on getting weaker and weaker. Weaker and weaker means थोड़ा कम हो जाता है उनका फोर्स, उन दोनों के बीच में जो रहता है वो दूर दूर जैसे ही ज्यादा जाता है. अगर एक मैग्नेट को पास में लेके आए दूसरे मैग्नेट से, वो फटाक से चिपक जाएगा. पर जैसे ही हम दूर लेके गए, उसकी इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक फोर्स जो उसके बाजू में रहती है, उसकी मैग्नेटिक फील्ड जो रहती है, वैसे ही इधर इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक फोर्स रहता है. तो वो फोर्स क्या होता जाएगा, कम होता है. सेम एक मैग्नेट और दूसरा मैग्नेट का एग्जांपल ले लो. वन मैग्नेट कमिंग क्लोजर टू ईच अदर, it is having a greater force of attraction, but when it goes away from it, the force gets weaker and weaker. So, as I mentioned, the force becomes weaker as we go away from the nucleus. So, weaker between the positive charge nucleus and the outermost electron. Okay, so the outermost electron is also called as the valence electron, which I will explain you when it is required. What do you mean by valence electron? It's nothing but the left out electron. Okay, the increase this increasing reactivity goes on down the group. As we go down the group, lithium, sodium, potassium, if we go down the group, the reactivity also increases. Is this very clear to you all? Now comes the non-metal groups. This was about metal groups. This was group 1. Okay, one more thing to be very precise. Let me bring this up to you. These two blocks over here, 1, 2, that is group 1 and group 2, is all the group 1 and group 2 are all metals. So this is called as the S block. What is it called? S block. S for sun. S block. Okay. Then from here, 13th to 18th group is called as the P block. Remember this very well. If I ask you what do you mean by P block, you should be answerable to it. So this is called the S block, first group and the second group. What is called as the P block? Group 13 say group 18 is called as the P block. Then what is this in the between? This is the transition metals. These are all transition metals. What is group 3 से लेकर 12? That is nothing but group number 3 से 12 is transition elements, which is called as D block. D for dog. D block. Okay. And in the P block here, all the non-metals are there, except for some metalloids, which is a mixture of metals and non-metals. और कुछ कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स है, जैसे एल्यूमिनियम है यहाँ पर. दिस इज अ मेटल, बट एक्सेप्शनल केसेस है जिधर पी ब्लॉक में. ओके, रिमेम्बर वन थिंग, देयर आर सो मेनी एक्सेप्शंस इन केमिस्ट्री. वो आएंगे ही आएंगे. सो यू हैव टू लर्न दिस एक्सेप्शन. जैसे मेटल, अगर हम सब मेटल की बात कर ले, बट अगर तुम मर्क्यूरी को देखोगे तो मर्क्यूरी, अगर सब मेटल को देखोगे तो सॉलिड है रूम टेम्परेचर पे, बट वेयर एज इफ यू सी मर्क्यूरी, इट इज लिक्विड एट रूम टेम्परेचर. So what do you understand from that? There are some exceptions which you have to learn. There is no other way except apart from this. Okay. So metalloids, metals, ये समझ गए? Next comes here. Non-metal group. Non-metal group में भी down the group the reactivity increases. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine. इलेक्ट्रॉन नंबर देखो कितना बढ़ रहा है. इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फोर्सेस क्या हो जाएगी, जैसे ही दूर चला जाता है, दूर जाता रहेगा इलेक्ट्रॉन, उतनी वीक होते जाएंगे. So if you see, fluorine is the most reactive. Fluorine, इधर एक चीज ट्विस्ट है नॉन मेटल में, जो सबसे पहले आता है उसकी हाईएस्ट रिएक्टिविटी रहती है, बट डाउन द ग्रुप रिएक्टिविटी डिक्रीजेस. माय बैड, आई जस्ट सेड द रॉन्ग थिंग. फर्स्ट द रिएक्टिविटी गोज ऑन डिक्रीजिंग. इधर नॉन मेटल में क्या हो जाता है, डाउन द ग्रुप रिएक्टिविटी डिक्रीजेस, बट इन मेटल्स डाउन द ग्रुप रिएक्टिविटी increases. Okay, remember this very well, because it is because the outermost shell of the electron is closer to the atomic radius. Okay, अभी यहाँ पर इलेक्ट्रॉन ट्रांसफर का खेल है. आई गेस 10th standard will understand this. The other 9th standard will learn it later. बट इधर ट्रांसफर का खेल है। ये लोग हमेशा जो नॉन मेटल रहते हैं हम लोग उसको बेगर्स बुलाते हैं, एंड द मेटल्स को हम लोग रिच अंबानीज बुलाते हैं। ओके, सो ये चीज बाद में पता लगेगी क्यों। तो दैट इज वाई जब भी ये बेगर्स जब भी नियर रहते हैं उनके पैसे के पास तो वो रिच दिखाते हैं खुद। करेक्ट, जैसे ही फ्लोरीन अपना न्यूक्लियस से नियर बाय है तो उसकी रिएक्टिविटी ज्यादा है। इधर ये केस है। ओके, so making it easier for the addition of the electron to attract fluorine. I'll make you understand later. Down the group the atomic radius gets larger. Radius तो वैसे भी जैसे metals में radius बढ़ रहा था वैसे non metals में भी radius बढ़ रहा है। The electrostatic force becomes weaker. Same, electrostatic force दूर ज्यादा जा रहा है उसके लिए वो weak होता जाएगा। Same magnet का concept इधर भी लगाएंगे। बट एक चीज सिर्फ इधर डिफरेंस हो रही है, रिएक्टिविटी डाउन द ग्रुप डिक्रीजेस। सिर्फ उतना याद रखना है। नाउ टेल मी, give the video a pause, take a break, and analyze and write this right now. Take 5 minutes, write it. Pause the video right now and write this by yourself. Appearance, how is the appearance? Metals का appearance कैसा था? Non metals का appearance कैसा है? Do they conduct electricity and heat? Malleability and ductility अगर है तो yes no लिखो। Density कैसी है? High low लिखो। Melting point कैसा है? Trend of the reactivity series कैसी रहती है metals में और non metals में? Write it right now. Take 5 minutes and pause the video right now and go. Okay. Okay, so here are the answers. Shiny, dull, good conductors of good conductors, and poor conductors. Malleable, it is malleable and ductile, but whereas non-metals are brittle, density, high density, low density, melting point, high melting point, low melting point. Down the group increases, down, and here down the group decreases. If you have written, if you've got all the points correctly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 points correct. Ductility also I'm adding. So 7 points correct. I give you 7 out of 7. Please mark it over there and give a pat to yourself. Very good. Okay. So ninth standard, I am ending it here. The later part I will add. I'm not ending it here, but I will add one more part in which I will explain you how the electronic transfer is happening. Okay. So what was the summary? How the modern periodic table was organized, how the atomic number, how are the atoms made, how are the elements made, how is the periodic table, rows, columns, everything, metals, non-metals, everything. So this is a very snitch, brief introduction to your periodic table and all the elements that you will require in your life if you pursue science, or till your 10th standard if you are having science, because you have. Okay. So similar properties among the elements within the groups of the periodic table, how the chemical properties and physical properties will affect each other, I will explain you in the later. Okay. Yeah, that's it.